have been playing video games for years now, or even decades. It is just amazing to look at the journey of video games over the years, how they got better and looked good over the time. But have you ever stopped to question where exactly the future of gaming is headed towards? This video will be a little bit different from the other videos I've posted, as this doesn't directly talk about a specific game or a title, but the gaming industry and technologies in general. So, have you thought what gaming would be in another decade or so? If you have, how do you imagine it looking like? When talking about the future of video games, Ready Player One is something that instantly pops in almost everyone who's of course familiar with it. At least to me, gaming should be something far beyond just stories and photorealistic graphics in the future. Ready Player One brings the fantasy of the most gamers into the creative piece of art, and if you really think about it, there's just high probability that our future video games being something similar. So for those who aren't familiar with the novel or the movie, let us go quickly through it. Ready Player One is a sci-fi novel written by Ernest Cline. Even though the original novel was written back in 2011, it received the mainstream attention with its movie adaptation in 2018. The novel and of course the movie brings the story of a teenager who wins it all in a virtual reality video game. I won't spoil the movie, but I must say it is a must to watch for every gamer. Ready Player One showcases the year of 2045, where societies have collapsed into the dystopia. The world is facing an energy crisis and global warming is on a high level. Come to think about it, it might just be an actual representation of our own futures, as a pollution and warming has increased in recent years and they just don't seem to be reducing or stopping either. In a Ready Player One universe, people escape this sadness and stressing reality in a virtual universe called the Oasis. It is not just a happy place for humans, but the whole economy of the world depends on it, as its currency is the most stable on Earth. The plot or the whole novel isn't the main thing I'm trying to talk about, but this massive virtual world, the Oasis. Oasis stands for, and get ready for this, ontologically anthropocentric sensory immersive simulation. Just like it sounds, it is a massively multiplayer online simulation game, or MMOSG. It isn't just a simple video game, but an entire world consisting of everything an individual would ever want. To simply put into the better perspective, it is like the internet, but you can live inside it. Enjoy all of its contents that it holds. It has basically replaced the internet and is accessible through an Oasis system kit that includes a pair of haptic gloves, a VR visor, and the Oasis console. Also, the experience can be enhanced through the other accessories. The main point I want to convey here is this could easily be the future of video gaming if hardware manufacturers and game developers try to innovate and diverse, without just continuing the story with the enhanced graphics. There's no development in the core gameplay experience at all. So now that you know about the Oasis and have a slight idea what I'm talking about in the video, let's see if an actual Ready Player One universe would happen. Before jumping into the unsupported conclusions, let us talk about the development of tech needed for such a gaming experience and if any steps have been taken into this concept. For this whole concept to actually work, there must be right gear and the technology. We have seen huge jumps into the virtual reality subjects or field in recent years, and this definitely has the potential to bring what we all crave. But what's sad is that only a small number of developers are interested in aspiring this tech to develop into the next level. More and bigger developers should invest in VR, bringing to the glory or otherwise. Now it just slowly dies off, just like how the 3D trend died off without proper content to support the idea. I would say that hardware manufacturers are doing their part, but game or program developers are holding down the future of this tech. If the foundation for the core idea of the VR future is laid properly, we could also see accessories and other complementing techs accompanying it. For an example, in late 2019 and the early 2020, there was news about the synthetic VR skin that takes haptic feedback to next level by allowing you to feel. This was really exciting news for many VR enthusiasts. Now, there hasn't been any updates or the progression, it's all went under the radar for most of the mainstream media. I mean, stuff like these should be founded and brought attention to as they define a revolutionary future, not for the cameras on the back of the smartphone, which serves no real purpose most of the time. There are also a Kickstarter campaign to fund revolutionary products for the VRs, such as one of the e-skin short by the Xenoma that functions as a wearable controller. Similarly, augmented reality can also be brought into the gaming world in creative ways to elevate the traditional experience. HoloLens is a product to keep an eye out for in this category. So the most important factor in this whole ambitious concept is the availability of games that think outside of the box. There have been games out there that has support up to this day, but the problem is that they never go mainstream for other developers to aspire the concept. In the latter years, there has been a lot of the VR games, and there actually is a Ready Player One called the Oasis Beta. The game tries to simulate the concept of the actual Oasis by letting you create your own avatar and take on small VR tasks. Well, guess why only few people know about it? Yes, the game execution was all over the place. The game came out in 2018 on Steam and Viveport. The lack of multi-platform availability was also the reason for its failure. However, the visuals were amazing, but the core gameplay wasn't what people were expecting. It currently has a 6 out of 10 Steam rating, and most people have forgotten about it. There have also been other games and virtual environments announced and implemented over the years. One hit was the VR chat. Since 2017 it has been a hit and used by many people around the world as a platform of socializing. But it isn't a revolutionary one that defines the future. The concept was cool, and that's really all. A similar concept was brought up by the PlayStation during a PlayStation 3 run, PlayStation Home. It introduced a virtual society where players could create their avatars and homes and virtually interact with one another. Unfortunately, the idea never took off, but the third-party developers have taken on this concept, and there are a lot of similar simulation games and virtual spaces. Another game I really want to talk about is Hyperscape. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Battle Royale games, and that's why you don't see them on this channel as often. However, the game is worth mentioning in this video as it really brings a similar concept as the Ready Player One, or at least it tries to. Hyperscape was first announced during the Ubisoft's first live event, and the game was eventually released in August 11, 2020. It brings a Battle Royale gameplay, but in a more sophisticated way. The game tries to bring a new fast-paced gameplay, something like an Apex Legends. The game features special abilities called hacks, and is all regular stuff but until the progression of the match. Ubisoft has introduced a whole new gameplay system where the game is linked to Twitch, and viewers can make different outcomes of the game. The fun and the challenging part about the game is that the in-game AI controls the game, and she is capable of changing the map, revealing all allies and enemies, and even giving out unlimited amount of the ammo buffs. This AI however can be influenced by actual viewers on Twitch to change the pace and the intensity of the match. The concept of this gameplay is wrapped around the idea of bringing streamers, players and viewers together into one thing. This way of incorporating real life with the game actually looks very interesting, and is kind of similar to the Ready Player One in some ways. The devs actually mentioned that they were inspired by the movie, and to be honest, is one step closer towards that ultimate fantasy. So like I said, the future of gaming should be a whole new form factor, where people don't just sit in front of the screen. The way things are going, we're going to be dependent on the technology in virtual environments anyways, so why not game developers lay the foundation already? Recent VR games like the Half-Life Alyx and Resident Evil have looked very good, and I really hope more big developers like CD Projekt Red and Rockstar join to give some kind of competition in the field. If developers are reluctant to go with the VR at once, they could take Ubisoft's approach by following up at a concept like the Hyperscape and finding more ways to define the future of gaming. What do you think? Ravenstar, thank you so much for the continued support on my Patreon. I truly appreciate it. And if you want to support me as well and expect these sort of videos by much earlier, I got Patreon, links down below in the description. Like and subscribe, guys. Have a wonderful day.